Hi, I'm here today with Dean Callaway, who's an advocate of the Hawaiian Way principles. Dean, I'd like you to tell me about what these principles are and how they work.
Aloha, Joan. Yes, my name's Dean, and I'm here to talk about the 7 principles of Huna, of the Hawaiian Way. These are 7 principles that I have learnt through 1, my teacher, and 2, making several trips to Hawaii, and I'd like to explain those to you today. The first principle is Eekay. The world is what you think it is. And what I mean by that is, it's to say as you think, you create. But the great thing about that is that if you're aware of what you're thinking, then you get to choose those thoughts that you have. And this is one of the first principles, the most important ones, because it's with our thought and as we think is as we're creating. It's what we're creating in our life. So if we can be aware of what we're thinking, then we can be aware of what we're creating. You know, I liken a story that I had many years ago when I was going through a bit of difficulty in my time and I had a bit of financial trouble. And it got quite difficult there at one stage. It prolonged for quite an amount of time and I was not in a good place. And when that bottomed right out into a particularly bad place and I had dreaded thoughts, it all come to a realisation. I had this thought come to me in my mind and the thought was, life is not that serious. And when those thoughts and that feeling come to me, it was like a liberating moment because I took those thoughts on board and I thought, life is not that serious. What's that mean? And I stopped and I thought about it for a while and I realised it was just simply that life is not that serious. And with that awareness, that Eekay, I had that light bulb moment and I was able to turn those negative thoughts around and those difficult thoughts around into really positive thoughts. The other way in which I'd like to give an example of this is as an analogy that I've come up with, and I call it the 80-20. And that is, you liken your situation or your life into this, to wherever you live. Now let's say you live in a town of 100,000 people. And you're out there and you're trying to make a living, you work for yourself, or you're trying to be prosperous in whatever you do. And it's not looking good. Everyone's saying how difficult times are and there's difficult times and this won't work and that won't work. So what you do is I add in the 80-20 and I say, okay, even though there's 100,000 people in your town and that 80,000 of them are doing it tough, which is a ridiculous ratio or scenario, but nevertheless it's a good point for the topic that we're talking about. So even though 80,000 of them are doing it tough, 20,000 of them are not doing it tough. And what you need to do, and what I want you to do, is to place yourself in that 20,000 that's not doing it tough. And this is what I've done and what I am doing in my life in regards to my job. And I find that it really works well. And all you have to do is that even though that may be the situation or the circumstance, you change your awareness, your Eekay, and turn it around and say, well, I want to place myself in the 20% that aren't doing it tough. And this is essentially Eekay, awareness. As you think, you create, but you get to choose your thoughts.